Every single time I run an Ask Us Anything story on Instagram, every time, without fail, I get this same question, and that is, how do I prepare for the physical standards of a basic police academy? So I decided I'm gonna take you up here in the hills with me. This is where I train outside frequently. This is the type of environment I train for to pass the basic police academy and the SWAT academy. And I wanna give you some tips on how you're gonna be able to set yourself up to pass. But in addition to that, I don't just want you to pass, I want you to stand out and surpass all of your peers. I've been to 3 academies, 2 basic and then 1 SWAT academy. And there's one guy in particular that sticks out in my mind from my basic academy because this guy struggled. And when I say he struggled, I mean this guy really struggled. He could not keep up on any run we were doing. He would take off from the PT mats and go throw up in the buckets. And the cadre, they seized upon that, but they seized upon it to not only punish him, but to punish the class as a whole. And the purpose is to sow division and create animosity towards one another, because it's all a mind game. That's really all academies are. And everybody there, even the recruits, they all know it's a mind game, but it still works because it's in your human nature. You can't help but hold a little bit of animosity towards somebody who's messing up or not keeping up if they're causing you physical pain. And the whole point is to break down the class and then see if you guys can kind of put the pieces back together and actually successfully graduate together. Now, the academy standards, the physical standards, vary greatly depending on whatever academy you're going to. Some academies are high stress, like certain SWAT academies, not all SWAT academies. And then you have your medium stress to low stress, which is what you would expect in more of a basic academy. So if you are a PT stud and you have no problem passing academy, this video is not for you. You can figure it out on your own without any of my tips. But luckily, it's not for you. It's for you, the average guy who maybe over the last few years you've gotten out of shape, gained a little bit of extra pounds, and you just need a little bit of help to get yourself off the couch, get yourself some confidence so you know you can actually pass the academy. But to understand academies, you need to understand what form of PT you're going to be doing. Some place a heavy emphasis on running, and then others have adopted more of a CrossFit style over the last few years. So it really depends on which of the 2 type of academies you're going to. But one thing is universally true amongst all academies, and that is you're going to be doing more PT than just that small scheduled block in your class or that day. You're going to be running from class to class, every single class. You're going to be getting smoked on the grinder between every class, and you're going to have some element of PT pretty much throughout your entire day. So you need to go in expecting that. So let's get the first and the most obvious out of the way, which is just the running portion. A lot of people steer clear of running nowadays, understandably, because it is very stressful on your knees and on your ankles and on your feet. But the bottom line is, I don't care how much calisthenics you're doing every single day, that is only going to get you so far as to running. You need to run in order to get good at running. You need to put those miles in. So every program, if you're preparing for an academy, should have some form of running in it. And the academy standards, again, it depends on where you are in the nation, but for the most part, the standards are a 1.5 mile run in somewhere between 12 and 14 minutes. But do not let that deceive you. You're going to be doing a lot more running than just 1.5 miles. My academy, you know, we had runs where that one run went up to 10 miles and 7 miles and 5 miles and everywhere in between we were doing every single week. And our test was just a 1.5 mile run. So that's just the baseline just to pass. You're going to be doing a whole lot more than that, likely. Now, believe it or not, if you have been sedentary for the last 5 years, you haven't done any running in your program, you're going to be very, very injury prone. And you're probably going to want to go online, find a basic beginner program and start baby steps, because the last thing you want to do right before you go into academy is just jump into running 5-10 miles, and you're going to be injured. You're going to cause yourself, ankle injuries, feet injuries, things like that, and you're going to hinder yourself right before you go to the academy. But what I want to talk about is more of that intermediate level. Once you've gone beyond the beginner and you've breached into the intermediate, which is what you're going to need to really be successful, that's what I want to talk to you today about. And I think every intermediate program should have a combination of these three things. Easy runs, which are kind of like recovery runs, fartlek runs, which are more of you're altering the pace of your runs, and then long distance runs. Guys, I hate running, although I do it often, and I'm sure you guys probably aren't fans of running either. So the last thing you want to talk about is running. So I'm going to burn through this as fast as I can, give you a decent jumping off point for your program. Fartlek runs, and if I'm butchering this verbiage or pronunciation of the word, again, I'm not a runner, so don't give me too much flack. Essentially what it is you're altering the pace of your run. So if you're running for 10 minutes, you may run 2 minutes at a moderate or easy jog, and then sprint for 30 seconds, and then go back down to that moderate pace for another 2, and then do that over and over throughout the duration of the run. In my opinion, that is the most effective way to increase your running capability, and specifically to increase your speed for longer distance runs. That was the most effective for me, and I think it should be in every single running program. And then moving on to the easy runs, again, like I mentioned before, guys, running is very taxing on your lower extremities, your legs, your knees, your ankles. So there's going to be days where you don't want to push the limit too far. You don't want to push that envelope, because if you do, you're going to end up regressing and causing yourself injury right before an academy, which would be an epic fail, which is not what you want. So you need to take it easy sometimes, but there may be days where you just don't want to completely take the day off. Easy runs are that happy medium. They're very low paced, very short distance, but they're designed to be there just to kind of keep your joints going, keep that progression going without causing you too much injury. They're very important for a running program. And then the last one is my least favorite, distance running. Most people hate distance running, but you have to do it. If you're going to run 5 miles in an academy, but you've only ever ran 3 miles, as soon as you hit that 3-mile mark, you're going to be hurting. Not only physically you're going to be hurting, but psychologically you're going to be hurting, because you've never been there before. If you're going to be going to an academy that has a 5-mile run limit, let's say, for example, you want to run 7 miles or 8 miles. That way, once you get to that 5-mile point, you've been there, done that, and you're not worried about it. You're not stressing about it. And you're not having those psychological challenges or even the physical challenges. So those 3 running pieces, I think, put together are a great jumping off point for anybody's running program. All right, guys, I don't know if it's me, but talking about running is almost as bad as running itself, which we got through it really quickly. Thank goodness.
I'm pretty tired. Think I'll go home now.
And now we're moving on to something I'm more interested in, which is strength training. And the strength training you're going to encounter at an academy comes, most of which in the form of bodyweight exercises, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, that type of thing. And what that means is your massive jack dude with a 400-pound bench, honestly, that guy's probably not going to perform all that much better, if better at all, than a guy who is a little bit leaner, a little bit trimmer, who's been doing a lot of calisthenics. So the key to developing strength is taking a measured approach, isolating and segmenting your exercises to really focus in on those areas that you're struggling. So I think a good program leading into an academy will look like this: calisthenics twice a week and free weight training twice a week. And then the benefits you draw from each will translate to one another. And something you're going to encounter at the academy probably is going to be circuit training, probably in a ladder. And what a ladder is you select a few exercises, let's say push-ups, sit-ups, and burpees, and then you segment them by increasing them one step at a time, increasing the rep range. So you may start with 5, you do 5 push-ups, 5 sit-ups, 5 burpees, then move to 10 and do 10 of each, then up to 15, up to 20, back down to 15, back down to 10, and then finally back down to 5. And honestly, that's probably something you're going to see in the academy, so you might as well start doing that now. All right, guys, before I go, I got one other thing I want to talk about. If you are watching this video, it probably means over the last few years, you've led somewhat of a sedentary life and you're trying to catch back up. But as with anything physical, it requires a systematic approach to progression in order to prevent injury. And that means you should be warming up, stretching, hydrating prior to any exercise. And if you're starting a program, week 1 should look a lot different than week 8 does. You don't want to go get over ambitious, start too hard, too fast, and cause yourself an injury right before the academy. That would be a fail. You don't want to do that. And then don't come to me in the comments and say that you followed my advice and I got you injured. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to produce more content like this. I'm really just scratching the surface on the Academy. I can get into anything about an Academy if you want, whether it be basic or SWAT. You guys let me know. I'll create content for you. Thank you guys. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.